like Holly and I always tell our team, and I always tell this to my kids, more is caught than taught. So I could teach you certain things, but we really caught how they sacrificed to build their business. And they always said, you know what, if you put your mind to it and you really work hard and you're ambitious, the end result is going to be, your goals are going to be fulfilled. You're going to live a fulfilled life, and you want to really impact people so you really can help them make a difference and have a fulfilled life. And that's probably one of the beautiful things that the beauty industry gives not only to us but to other people is we take these new stylists at 18, 19, and 20 who have no idea what $100,000 to $500,000 could look like for them. And we say, okay, let us model that to you because we're going to show you and teach you, and then you're going to catch it, and then you're going to be able to repeat that and give it to the next new stylists that are coming on board. So it's just really all about building people and giving them an opportunity.
Welcome to the In the Arena podcast. My name is Jared Miguez, a co-host on this podcast that brings you the inspiring stories of our clients who are leaders and innovators across different industries in Southeast Louisiana. They are visionary entrepreneurs, savvy real estate professionals, media creators, military business owners, and community champions. And we are going to showcase the remarkable achievements and share their personal stories. Tune in for insightful conversations, valuable lessons, and motivational stories that are going to reveal their secrets to success and offer you insights to help you on your own path. Welcome to In the Arena Podcast. Welcome to the In the Arena Podcast. We've got Miss Heather on today, and we're going to talk about her and her legacy business that she's operated for 37 years, going on 38 years.
38 years, June 5th, 2026.
Which is great. And we have a lot of mutual friends, friends who have done business with you, friends who have been on billboards for you.
Yes.
We'll talk about that off stage so we don't embarrass my buddy Nick Trist. Say his name out loud.
Still calling him out, huh?
Yeah. But I'm excited today because you have an intentional business, and a lot of people in this town have the aspirations of growing an intentional business that wants to scale and last for a long time like yours has, but they struggle with the ideas of what that actually means and what the actual actionable steps you have to take. So you came over here after Katrina, which wasn't necessarily expected.
Right.
But, you are here now. So let's talk about how you got established on the Southshore and kind of what got you over here to the Northshore.
Okay. I'll say that quickly. So my sister and I were 27. I'm an identical twin. It's called H2O, Heather, Holly, and others. And we started with 6 employees. And what was fortunate about us is my parents are entrepreneurs, and we second generation hairstylists. And so it was natural for us to go and have our own business. So my dad set us up in 1988. And then by 1993, when I had my first child, we knew it was time for us to expand. Yeah. So my dad always wanted us to own our own property and own our own building. So we built it, and then in 1995, we became one of the first, what they called back then, mega spas, really in our state, where you could really take the beauty industry and you could take the spa and you could put them together. Cool. So we did that, and our goal in the midst of all that is my sister had 2 children and I had 4, but our goal, because we lived with the mindset of cash is always king, and so we paid our building off in 5 years.
Wow,
I know it was $20,000 a month. And our goal was to really, in essence, live somewhat debt-free and put back into our business, because that's the best way that you kind of gain sustainability and movement and flexibility to always move forward.
Mm-hmm. How much sacrifice did you have to make during that time? People don't understand.
Many times when we started, she used to do payroll every other week, and then I would clean the salon, and then vice versa. So I always tell people, you better be willing to sacrifice, because there were many times that we had to hold our own check to make sure everything else cleared first. Mm-hmm. But I know that when you're driven by vision and you're driven by what you believe you're called to do, that the money finds its way to come to you, but you really need to do what I call the hard things to set yourself up for the happy things. Mm-hmm. So I think we had that mindset that, you know what, we're ambitious, we love to work hard, and we're going to sacrifice now so we can enjoy later.
Yeah. And how much is this is going to push on some of Lauren's buttons, because this is a big part of her life too. How much of your dad inspired you to do what you've done? I know you kind of mentioned it. We always talk about how there's people in our lives that have made an impact either positively or negatively on us. Right. And looking back on it, the legacy that we're carrying forward are from all those people that made an impact that allowed us to be where we're at today. And I think it's great that you already mentioned your dad instilling that in you and your sister from such an early age. How big of an impact did he have on y'all? Like really?
My mom and my dad were both what I would call hardworking people that end up becoming millionaires. So they really just modeled what we really wanted to do and be. And so like Holly and I always tell our team, and I always tell this to my kids, more is caught than taught. So I could teach you certain things, but we really caught how they sacrificed to build their business. And they always said, you know what, if you put your mind to it and you really work hard and you're ambitious, the end result is going to be, your goals are going to be fulfilled. You're going to live a fulfilled life, and you want to really impact people so you really can help them make a difference and have a fulfilled life. And that's probably one of the beautiful things that the beauty industry gives not only to us but to other people is we take these new stylists at 18, 19, and 20 who have no idea what $100,000 to $500,000 could look like for them. And we say, okay, let us model that to you, because we're going to show you and teach you, and then you're going to catch it. And then you're going to be able to repeat that and give it to the next new stylists that are coming on board.
That's awesome.
So it's just really all about building people and giving them an opportunity to succeed.
Well, leading from the front. I mean, that's what you're explaining your parents did, right? It becomes a way of life if that's just what you see every day.
Right.
And I mean, I worry about it every day with my kids right now. You know, people ask me all the time, like, do you feel like you're pulled away from your kids too much, right? They see you work too much. And it's like, no, I hope they see me sacrifice.
Right.
I hope they see that struggle because they don't have a struggle of their own, right? And we love that for them, but they have to understand that it is a way of life. That's how you achieve something. You have hope for growth in the future, because otherwise everything else around us is telling us otherwise.
Yeah. And you know, that's a great point, because I was talking to one of my clients, I don't know if it was yesterday or last week, and they said, I wonder if I've given my kids too much opportunity. They haven't seen enough of the hard stuff. Yeah. And I think that really, we really kind of do on our kids, and I'm guilty of it too right here, of not really showing them that because of always making a way. And I think you really need to know how to do the hard things, because that's really what makes you stronger. And like they say, you know, when there's friction on anything, right, your ties have friction. They have that because they want to protect you, right? That things in relationships have friction, doesn't feel good, but that's really what makes you stronger. And so I think that's something that we really need. I know I need to empower my kids more with that.
Right.
But with my employees and my team members, I let them know, because I can see what they can become. I think it's probably one of Holly and I's greatest gifts is I can see that greatness in you. I could see that you're a great cutter. I love the way you articulate yourself. You have amazing eye contact with people. You know what? You look incredibly phenomenal today. Your look is going to gravitate to getting a certain client type, or you're phenomenal at men. And people need that. Like, we don't see enough of encouragement and seeing the gold in the person to bring them up, for them to say, okay, you know, I'm feeling confident about that too.
Yeah.
So I think in the beauty industry, you're teaching beauty, but you're actually building people. I mean, that's what you're doing all
personnel
day.
development.
Yep.
Always. I mean, that's leadership, because everyone's coming to you with some element of trauma, right? Some limited vision that was given to them. And when you think about it, like, you find these incredible people and you obviously see something beautiful in them, and then you watch them struggle through the days, and it's just pulling them in and saying, you can have more.
Yep.
I believe in you,
Yep.
right? Because not everyone has that at home.
Yeah. I have a guy who works with me. I am obsessed with him. I mean, I could talk about so many different people who work with me, but he's from Mexico. He's been with me for 5 years, and he is a workhorse. He brings in a little over $300,000 a year. And I remember when he started with me, I was like, Ernie, you got it. He couldn't even blow dry hair, and he would get nervous and sweat. I was like, Ernie, you got it. You're going to do it. And I just started showing him the figures and how to move the blow dryer, you know, root lift, how to pull it out at a triangular shape or whatever. And now when I see him, it's like the 300,000 was so easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he didn't even, and he always says, you know, you believed in me. That's what I love about you, Heather. You believed in me.
Which is a huge goal in the industry. I mean, she's saying that so lightly, but let's be honest. A lot of people that get into that industry, it's the same thing with artists, right? A lot of stylists, they're creatives. And I loved growing up around all the ladies that came into salon. That's not how my mind works. I love doing hair. I love aesthetics. But I mean, it's wonderful to watch them want to create, but have no idea how to run a business.
Yeah.
Or to even have a mind, right? A mindset that would say, how am I turning this into a business? And typically they're really good at people, right? Because most artists also are empathetic.
Yep.
And so, I mean, you touched on it a second ago. Like you're talking about my client, came to me and said, it is a therapy session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every day, all day. The flip side of that, growing up in a salon, everybody knew my business.
Yeah.
Because my mom didn't know how to keep her mouth shut.
Right.
So I'm sure your kids feel that
Yeah.
pain too.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said early on in your career, you said there's one thing that you wish you would have done a little bit differently or had a different perspective, and that was understanding the numbers.
Yeah.
So
Understanding the numbers. So thinking about at 27, so we were 27, and like I said, we had no business plan. Our business plan was, okay, you're going to bring in 50,000, you're going to bring in 25,000, you're going to bring in 25,000. Okay, well, we know the first year we're going to bring in at least 100. So back then, our prices were obviously less. So in less than 7 years, we really brought in over $1 million. Wow. Okay. And it just started to grow. And it's like anything else. It's like when you see something that you ended up accomplishing, then the vision starts to grow and it increases. And fortunately, one thing I really want to let everybody out there know that when you start, one of the biggest things for me that has always stayed with Holly and I is that gift of curiosity. Because curiosity will always keep you in a posture of learning. And so I always really wanted to glean from other people. I was a huge seeker of whoever's further than me, that's the next person I need to meet. So we did a lot of traveling and to find out, okay, well, who's the top salon in Louisiana? Who's the top salon that carries Kerastase? And we wanted to know what everybody did and how they did it better than us.
Wow, that's cool.
So
There's a lot of that.
Yes.
Hair conventions are fun.
Yeah.
yes,
But I have an experience like that too. When you get out of your element and like being the top in your market is great. But there's always somebody who's doing it a little bit better, a little bit bigger, a little bit more new age, like figuring things out.
Right.
Like you got to go and be out there and meet people and get to know people. I stepped out and went to North Carolina and met at a mortgage company up there and saw what they were doing with their market and how big of an impact they were making. And when you step out of your own bubble and see the opportunity you have and what other people are doing, it can be inspiring.
right. So one thing that we're doing now, and I'd love to pass this on to hair salons because we really mastered it back in 1995, 96. We went to Florida near where the Breakers Hotel is. And we really became the leading gift certificate business. We went in all the kiosks and all the malls. And in the month of November and December, we do about $400,000 in gift certificates. Wow. So in a year, we would do $1 million just in gift certificates because that would be the feeder for our spa. Because our hair was always strong. That's what we did really well because we were both behind the chair and we were the drivers. And so what we do now, since that whole industry has somewhat shifted, that you really have taken the whole beauty industry as a whole and you end up departmentalizing it and creating businesses. Meaning you have European wax, you have eyelash extensions, you have the brows. So everything kind of has separated and you have businesses that have that.
Nice.
So if anybody wants one of my golden nuggets to be successful, is you really need to create a gift certificate business. Because we do it here too, where it's primarily around hair. And in essence, you gift your client like 25%, right? Because it's you buy a gift certificate at a certain value, but you're getting value added to that. But what happens is, as a company, it fronts the money.
Yeah, they
and
spend more.
Thank you.
Spend more every time.
What'd you say?
Every time I spend
more.
more. I've never used just my gift card.
Yep. And then a lot of times people don't even redeem it. So what happens as a company, it's like fronting you money right now, which really gives you an opportunity to expense it differently.
Nice.
Because there's new money that's coming in and those clients end up spending more.
Very cool.
Now,
So-
on acquisitions, that's a little bit of the pain in the butt. I'll just remind everybody on that. Whatever you're buying and selling businesses, those gift cards and the collections on them,
We write it off every year.
big
Right, we do
factor.
that.
You got to.
Yep. But anyway, just for people, we do it as, especially around Thanksgiving, like thank you so much for being our client for so many years. But it really does help us, but it keeps that consistency and that faithfulness that the client's going to stay with you at
100%.
least. So it just helps people really know how to get that upfront money
Very
at first.
cool.
We love it. It's been good.
That is very cool. So you talked about when we first got started that you were started in Metairie in New Orleans, right? And then Katrina hit, right? Y'all had plans and goals and dreams, and you kind of had to shift because you got transplanted up here to the North Shore.
Yes.
And so you said something that I loved when we first got started. You said that you saw it as an opportunity. You didn't say that in as many words, but you said, we're doing well. It's time for us to take a step, right?
Yes.
We're going to open on the North Shore.
Yes.
So tell us about that time period in y'all's business.
So fortunately, nothing happened to H2O and Metairie during Katrina. We had 90 employees, and we lost 20, so we were down to 70. And because it was really such a trauma, or just, so many things were going on, there was so much insecurity, there was no stability, that we said, you know what, let's use this as an opportunity to expand. And that's what we did. So we opened up in January 31st, 2006 over here. And we just started growing it like a new baby business.
Yeah.
But Jared, I think one of the things that have stayed with me since I opened up my business and when I first started doing hair, and it stays with me today, which when we purchased the building I have now, we built it in 2020 in the midst of COVID. I was building that. So God has a sense of humor and put me in tough spots. Yeah. And I always say this, if what you have now is the most it's ever going to be, I don't care whatever it is for you, if it's personal, anything, right? I have one child, I really want two, whatever it may be. My business is doing great, but I feel like there's something else in there. If what you have now is the most it's ever going to be, then keep it. But if it's the least, for me, I'm going to risk it because the risk is something greater for me than the regret. And that's just, I don't know where I got that from, but I felt that at 24 years old. Yeah. I was like, you know what? If where I have now, if it's the most it's ever going to be, then I'm going to be fine with it. But if it's the least, I would rather risk it and really, do something that would maybe put me on walking on the water, or trying something new, or maybe, creating that friction to make me want to expand or grow. Yeah. And that's kind of how we roll. And that's just how we've always done it.
I think it's a mindset of all great entrepreneurs, because if you go through time and you study people, the ones that get to an ultimate level of success, whatever that success may be, because I'm not saying it's a dollar figure. Right. Sometimes it's a piece. Sometimes it's the greatest impact that they can make. But the ones that do that is because they're ready and available for opportunity, right? If you look at it, think of the stock market, for example. Anybody that makes a big play in the stock market, when everyone's scared and getting out, they're getting in. So I just, that resonates with me that you expanded, Miss Katrina. And I watched, and I was, I benefited from that, watching several entrepreneurs in our community not prey on people, support people, and help people by being able to take those opportunities and turn them into something beautiful when we had something horrific happen to us in this area. Because I was in Slidell, so I was in college, but all my family was there. Yeah. And so watching those businesses transform. So I applaud you for doing that, because that fed back into the community when people were wondering whether that was going to happen. How do we rebuild? We rebuild because people are willing to reinvest, because people are ready for those opportunities.
And honestly, I know people say you fake it till you make it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I think you need to see the big picture. And coming over here, looking back, it's been 20 years, I can't imagine my life on the Southshore.
Yeah.
Because everything about over here really just expanded and gave my kids opportunity, larger neighborhoods, and gave me an opportunity to grow myself. Like, I think I probably would have gotten stuck, or I would have been like, what else? What's next for me?
Yeah.
Which,
and I think, again, people with a glass half full mentality think, okay, this is an opportunity for me. Like, every time something happens, I'm not a victim. I have some opportunity for me to grow and be better and take an opportunity and see what else is out there. And some people, a lot of people you hear during Katrina, there were some people who were like inspired and ready to get back at it and rebuild New Orleans. And other people moved into different areas and they said, okay, this is an opportunity for me to grow and expand my family. And I just love the fact that was your mentality, right? We're going to take the best foot forward we can in the situation. We're going to open in a second location, and we're going to take the systems that we've built on the South Shore, and we're going to do it up here, and we're going to continue to grow on the North Shore, because that's the opportunity we have now.
Right.
But I think it's great.
Yeah. And so when we were here and we were in a strip mall on Highway 22, because our place in Old Metairie was so nice and we owned the building, I was like, this is like efficiency apartment to me. Mm-hmm. This girl I can't live here. Mm-hmm. So our next step was like, I have to find property and we need to build our own building. Because it all came back to that same thing. If what I have now is the most it's ever going to be, then I have to be fine with it. Mm-hmm. But if it's the least, I would rather risk it. Mm-hmm. And so we were building our building during COVID. Yeah. So I was like, okay, God, you have a really funny sense of humor. You're putting me in a really tough spot. But when you get in those spots, you know exactly what you're made of. Mm-hmm. You really do. And it's like, you know what? I have to relinquish and trust somebody greater than me and higher than me that is going to see the completion of this that I don't even see yet.
100%.
And that's kind of the walk of faith, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's going to happen one way or the other. You might as well just trust that God's got you and your back, and he's going to make it happen 100%.
Yep. I have one daughter that is so risky. She doesn't think. She's more like my husband, and they're just running full speed all the time. They're never looking back and never looking on their sides. And then I have my daughter who wants to do all the things and is totally capable, but every now and then she hesitates. And I tell her all the time, like, as soon as you feel that hesitation, she's a little bit more like me. I'm like, jump.
She the oldest?
Just jump.
Is she the oldest? Okay.
No, she's my spicy 8-year-old. And then as soon as she takes that step and she takes that jump, I mean, she's incredible.
Yeah.
Every single time. So it's just giving them that push and support. But that's how I look at all
Yes,
those challenges in life. Like,
that's true.
oh my gosh, this is a challenge. I'm uncomfortable. That means I need to do something.
Yeah.
I love that gut reaction. Great. Pull all the data around me and jump. Whatever direction you feel you should go in. Support it.
It is.
So we haven't talked about this yet, but I have a feeling you're going to have a lot of good things to say about it because you have a lot of employees, and some of them are 1099, some are W-2, right?
Everybody's W-2.
Everybody's W-2. So how it's your brand and your business is so dependent on the people that are in the salons doing all the services that you have.
Right.
How do you find the right people? How do you hold them accountable to the standard that you set? Because I know you have a high standard to operate at.
Right.
What is your system? And like, what type of person are you looking for? How do you make sure you hire the right people? How do you hold them accountable to
Right.
it?
Okay. Well, first of all, we love education. Like, we love training. So I always say it is very easy for me to make a very successful hairdresser or hairstylist. That is much easier than for me to change your attitude. So I first look for people who have a willingness to love people and have a great attitude. Like, if you have that, I can really mold everything else.
Yeah.
I find the hardest thing is to change somebody's attitude, for people to be I can people, for people to be yes people, to people to understand, you know what, the greatest person is the person who knows how to serve. So I look for that first, and then everything else we can mold. So we really, our hiring the way we hire people is we really have 3 interviews. We have you come in and see H2O because we're a big salon. We have systems, we have policies, we have procedures. Some people don't like that. Some people don't like to have some kind of layout, or I don't want to say boundaries in a great way.
Sure.
But so for us, we lead that way because we really lead with vision, and we lead with saying, well, let me tell you what we're all about, what we can bring to you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. We found out about like just their personality, like their family, like their work ethics. We have them come in the next time and see, do they see that towels on the floor? Do they know how to say, hey, how are you? Where's your name? We look for things like that. But I always say attitude is the first thing I hire. Wow. Everything else I can train.
Yeah. Is that typical? I mean, the beauty industry, is that more skill and talent, or are they looking for more of a personality? Because
I'm gonna tell you this. Yeah. It's a blend. So I will use my sister. Okay, my sister is a $600,000 stylist behind the chair. That's what she brings in. Her personality is 100%. And she'll tell you, I'm probably a B- hairstylist, maybe C, but her clients are obsessed with her.
Yeah.
So I always say, isn't it great if you have all of it? And so we teach technical because that's super important, why somebody's coming in. But there's not a client that's leaving my chair and giving me a hug and telling me, I love my triangular bob, it looks amazing, because they don't know that. So people buy how they feel. However, they are coming in for that amazing triangular bob. Does that make sense? 100%. So if you have all we really teach what we call technical skills, people skills, and business skills. So the people skills is how me as the owner, as the overseer, as the leader, and my CEO and my salon coordinator, because we have all different people who undergird the stylist. We really, really get them to love on people and lead them, encourage them, right? Help them activate their gifts, their talents, their abilities. And then we really teach you, at the end of the day, we need to monetize what that chair is producing, because that's our real estate. We call it our 5x5 real estate, chair optimization.
Yeah.
So we teach them how to optimize that chair. So if you really end up grabbing a hold of all 3, and we know in year 3 that you're with us, you're easily bringing in between $100,000 and $175,000 a year. Wow. And some people take longer. We always say everybody has equal opportunity, but not all things are created equal. I mean, everybody has the same opportunity here. It may take you a little bit longer, but if you have that attitude, like just, I'm trying it, I got it, I want to do it, then we're really going to have more patience with you because we really see it too. And then we know that we hold certain standards. And if you're not going to make it, you end up leaving yourself, we don't really let you go.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the mojo, you can't do it.
And
And
then
that's
you
okay.
The pressure pushes you out.
Yes, and it's all good.
And what's the system of giving feedback? Are you doing evaluations on a
Yes.
regular basis? Are you watching all the time?
We,
Do they know it?
Yes, we start at the beginning of the year. Everybody has a review, and we first kind of talk about if this was. We first ask them if this was your business and you owned H2O, what would you do differently?
Nice.
We'd love to know their feedback with that.
Very cool.
And then we lead in at what they did last year. We find out what are the challenges they have, what were maybe some of the setbacks. It could be personal, whatever it may be, and we get them to let us know what are they believing for in 2026.
Nice.
So we meet with them, and then we look at their figures monthly. Last 2 weeks of each month, we let them know if they're on target to reach their goal or what they need to make up if they didn't make it up in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we measure three things. We measure retention, like how do you retain your client? We really measure retail, and then we measure what we call reconnecting. We changed that about a year ago. Instead of rescheduling, because that's a transactional word, we really use the word let's reconnect, because that's a personal word.
Very cool.
But y'all are really business coaches and
Yes.
consultants because, I mean, as 1099, all these stylists are running their own unique business. They're just doing it with support.
Yep.
And most salons that you go to, you're renting a chair, same concept, right? That's your real estate. That's where you're paying to rent. They just don't know how to run a business and they don't have the support.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how much energy and effort are you putting into helping them generate more business? Because I think, some people, at least from our experience, attorneys are unique too, right? Hairstylists being creative may not necessarily be the best salespeople. Attorneys being really good at their job may not be the best salespeople. But if you get them in the door, a client in the door, and they get one-on-one with that person, they may build a relationship that they last forever. So sometimes that sales and marketing side of it is important to help your people be able to get the opportunity to build a relationship.
Right.
So how much are y'all's clients out there? I mean, your employees out there generating their own business? And then that caveat to that is how much of y'all's marketing is generated for the entire business, H2O, and not individual people?
So our brand, that's one of the great things about H2O. Our brand is initially built in your chair, because we do a whole referral program where I always say, what's so great about you being part of H2O is we're in partnership, which meaning you have your responsibility and I have my responsibility. And we average about 100 new guests a week. So, a month. So that's a lot.
It was like 100 a week.
A month.
That's a lot of
100
walk-ins.
100 a month that come in. So it's 25. So I always say if you have one client that sends you 10 new clients, that's really becomes 100. You need 220 clients to have a successful rocking, really to be a $500,000 stylist behind the chair, depending on your ticket average per guest, right? So again, we teach that because honestly, when you're in an environment like ours where you know that we're going to fill your chair, you really don't work as hard because it's like, I know they're going to come in. And so this year, going into 2026, that's one of the things that we're working on more so to really call the client after and say, so tell me, how was your experience with Heather? And how do you love your highlights or whatever? And if we feel like that, it was okay, it really didn't work, I didn't like that, then we will have them come in, and that's kind of when I get involved. And this is what I've always told my kids, and I tell this to my team all the time. Are you memorable? See, my twin and I are memorable. We have red hair. We don't look like anybody. We're identical twins. And so you need to be memorable. And if you're not, then why weren't you memorable? Because, you can meet somebody behind the counter. I go to Fresh Market all the time. The lady, Melissa, takes care of me. Melissa's memorable to me.
Yeah.
Because she acknowledges me. She knows what I like. She's always aware of me being there. So she is memorable. And when you become memorable, people subconsciously realize they can't live without you.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the pieces that going into 2026 that we're going to work on, because the people piece, if that connection becomes powerful, then you really create so much impact. But then those people really realize when they leave you, they're saying, I can't live without her. And that's when you really create a legacy.
For sure.
And that's when it becomes powerful, and that's when it becomes fun.
I mean, how many women and even men too, like, will not go to another person to get their hair cut.
Right.
Because that's their person. They don't trust anybody else. It's the relationship that they've built.
Yeah.
And then you have other people who are like, I just go to whichever barbershop that I'm going to walk into. And it's probably because they haven't had that connection with somebody that they feel as though I'm going to go back to that person every time. One, because I'm bought into their success because I appreciate that person enough that I don't want to give my dollar to somebody else.
Yeah.
Right. And so that in my mind, the way that I think about business is like that loyalty, that I know what their goals are. We've talked about it. They know what mine are. We have a connection, a relationship that we're in this together and we're going to help each other get where they need to be.
And Jared, 60% of my clients are all from the South Shore.
They drive up here to
So I do 60%. So I always say, thank you guys for supporting St. Tammany Parish.
yeah.
You know, and it's because of that connection from uptown, from Old Metairie. I mean, you name it. Some clients fly in from out of state because it has nothing to really do with the hair. That's just a conduit. That's how God works. It's like that's just a conduit for them to experience something they feel like they can't get anywhere else.
Well, one of the things that if and this is just me thinking out loud, if I was a hairstylist, the funnest part for me would be to listen to all the people I'm talking to, their goals and their dreams and what they need. And as you build your own business within your chair, it's like, okay, I know that this person does this service and that they can offer this. And that next person who came in said, well, I need that. So you can make those connections and you can create your own little ecosystem within your own.
It truly is.
Yeah. And I always tell, when I'm talking with realtors and mortgage lenders and they're asking me for advice on how to grow their business, I'm like, you need to build a relationship with a hairstylist and tell them what you're looking for, who your ideal client is, what your goals are.
Yeah.
And then as they're sitting there having conversations with people, you need to make sure that they know how to get them in touch with you, because there's so much opportunity with people who come in and out of that chair. Then they're talking with people for 30, 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours. How long do you get your hair done? 4 hours? Yeah, 3 hours. I mean, that's a lot of time to get to know somebody. I think.
Well, you know what, Jared? When I moved over here, I had like a remnant of clients that really drove the bridge for me. And one was Pat Brister. She used to be the parish president. I started her in 1986. And her daughter is Jill Hebe. And I said to her, Jill, I need you. I want people just like you. And if I mentioned all the names right now on this podcast, you would know half of them for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm going to start with Jill and Clark Hebe, which led to Allison and Will Triss, which goes on and on and on. And they created all my clientele. And it's the exact client that I really wanted and desired. So just what you're saying is exactly true. So that's probably what I love about the North Shore. It is very, very community. I mean, you know, even with fundraising, I've done more fundraising over here than I've ever done on the South Shore. And I'm really from the South Shore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something about this community that wants to come together that is beautiful.
Well, you said two of the three things I tell everybody about this community. If you work hard and you are building relationships in this community, you're going to do well. The third thing I think you have to do is do the right thing. If you work hard and you have that right mindset and you are doing the right thing constantly, you get welcomed here. Because I'm not from here either. I'm from Alexandria. So when I came here, the Trists were one of the families that I knew. And they all told me, like, you know, don't call Miss Alice at the beginning. She's got her own relationships. Go make an impact on the younger people. Show everybody you work hard. You're going to do the right thing. And over time, you will build your reputation and you'll have the opportunity to work with people who've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
And Mr. Nick told me that. And I've taken that to heart. And I mean, and he's right. It's been 10 years. And at this point now, I have the trust and I know people enough that they're willing. They know that whenever I'm involved, that they trust it's going to get done. But they weren't going to do that on day one. I had to go build my reputation.
Yep.
And this is a great town if you have that mentality.
Yeah.
You don't walk around here flashing fancy shoes and things and saying, this is who I am, this is what I've done. People, they want to know that what you're willing to do to help them create this great community that we already have and add to it.
And there's no shortage of opportunities to do it. That's the other frustrating part. We have events all the time. We are one of the biggest, socially networking communities that you could ask for. And so when people complain about that or don't know where to begin, I'm like, get off of your couch.
No, it's true.
You have 5 opportunities every weekend.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about, you know, you have to be able to, as a business owner, you have to be able to identify a few things and really to be able to know where you need to be spending your time and energy, right? If you don't know what your true vision is, like you've said a couple of different times, if you don't know what your purpose is and you don't know who your ideal client is, you can't know where to spend your dollars. It's almost like you have too much opportunity to know where to invest your time and energy. But if you can whittle down specifically who you're trying to target and then say, what are their goals? What are their obstacles? How can I add value to the community to make it better so they can overcome those obstacles easier? How do I solve an obstacle for them? That's whenever you know where to spend your time and energy.
Right.
And most people just don't. They just start a business and they're good at what they do and they don't know how to communicate to their people they're trying to attract why they need to come do business with them and what they're doing to support them in their community.
I think for every new entrepreneur, one of the first books I ever read, it was The Gerber Myth. Have you ever heard of that book?
Oh, the E-Myth.
No, E-Myth.
By Michael Gerber.
By Michael Gerber.
Yes.
And you're either the manager, you're the entrepreneur, and you're the salesperson. That's the first book I read. I think I was 28 years old. And my sister and I were all three. We did it all. But when you start to define all that, And when you start, you are doing them all. But then you start to find out, okay, where am I really thriving? Like what's really my best bent and my gift? And then you fill in the blanks in those other areas for those people to help you. And that's where a CFO comes in, or somebody who can coach you or manage you and mentor you and say, listen, let's look at the math. I mean, you're doing great, but where's the money? And so that's a piece that I probably love now, since I've been doing it for so long and I do it within my own business. That's what I like to help new entrepreneurs or even new stylists behind the chair, how to maximize that chair.
That book is what started changing my life and perspective on business. It was one of the first business books I ever read.
Too.
And I read it every year or two, and I give it to
recommend it every day.
You do?
Every employee that comes, like right now, the one of the ladies in our office, she's 22, 23? 21. She's very, very young, and we're talking about systems and processes and how she can be more like when I first started training her earlier this year. She said, I don't have time to ever learn anything because I have so much to do. I'm always putting out fires. Well, we pulled back, and I say we need to build our systems better so that you have more time and energy to be able to go and learn, because you're able to systematize what you're doing.
Right.
And as we started building systems, the biggest compliments or most exciting moments I've had since we've started this business was that she called me and said, I have so much more time now to go and learn. And I was like, it's because you were able to control the
managed.
things. Yeah. And so she's doing such a better job with it, but she's reading that book now too, because to understand why and how she was doing what she's doing. What she did is, she don't even realize, she took the methods that Michael Gerber talked about and creating a scalable role within her organization, so she has time to do all those things. And from a creative standpoint too, you'll have some creative people say, I don't want the boundaries around what I do. But we tell people, create boundaries around the things you can create boundaries around. All that's going to do is give you space
More time
to be able to be creative.
Right.
Freedom and discipline.
Yeah.
There's freedom and discipline.
Yes.
That book is gold. It really
You just have
is.
to remember to repeat it, though. That's the challenge that I see business owners do. They do it one time and they're like, okay, I'm there. And they get themselves in another position. It's like, all right, do it again.
Yeah.
Like, it's a muscle that you build. That's all business is a constant muscle, so that when you feel the tension, your body knows how to react.
Well, and you said it too, right? The 2026 objective is how you can make memorable moments in the chair, right?
Yep.
You've systematized a lot of what you've done.
Yes.
You're training people, but every year you realize something that you can improve on. And when you have that 30,000 foot perspective, you can see your business and figure where the tweaks need to be made. You take the E-Myth model, you build systems around it, you train, and then you're able to scale that part of your business. So it's fun, and it's not rocket science. Like most people have a hard time with business. There's a few little tools you can put in place, and being disciplined
And accountable. Want
accountable.
somebody to be accountable too.
Yeah.
And then you said too, right?
Somebody that you respect to be accountable
Yes.
to. And that's really hard for a business owner as well. Because there's so many people out there that want to be coaches and accountability partners, but I can't respect somebody that hasn't done anything.
Yeah. I have to say, I hired a COO in May, and she's amazing. And honestly, I really do defer to her, because by me deferring to her, I'm actually empowering her to make decisions. But I believe her because she has a different set of eyes. And I think it's so important. If you've been doing things a long time, like that saying they used to say, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. I don't believe that anymore. That is not true.
Always be better.
Because you need to have somebody see with a different set of eyes. And so we really are super excited moving into 2026, because there's a few things we're going to be changing that are great. But I always defer to her. I did it today. I said, listen, I don't see it 100% like you right now, but I'm really going to I'm going to empower you to make that decision, because you probably see something that I'm not seeing. And you have to really know yourself, and you've got to be confident to go to the next level, to give somebody else that you give them that ability to make that decision, and it makes them feel confident too.
Yeah.
And that's how you pass yourself on to other people.
She's going to make the right decisions.
Yes.
Assuming that she knows what your standards are.
Yep.
If she knows what the standard you expect to perform at, and she's just going to make a decision within that framework, then the decision is going to be the right one for you. It might not be the exact one that you want to make, but at least you're going to move it in the right direction.
Totally.
So I think it's great. Well, we've given shout outs to a lot of good people today.
Yeah.
We usually don't have many people in common with some. Well, I don't always. So I'm glad that we got to give the Trist a shout out. And all those people
For
too. So
sure.
they're going to be excited.
I think we should show a picture of his billboard. I think that's how we should end this podcast. So we'll have to make that happen,
We'll do
Taylor.
a flashback, and I'll share that with Nick.
Little flashback.
Yeah,
That'd be cute.
For sure. Well, that's very cool. What are y'all looking forward to next year? Like the biggest thing, you're looking to expand more. You're looking to add more stylists. You're looking to
Add more stylists. I'm always hiring. Cool. I never say no. That's one thing. And then we launching it's called Maine, MANE Mogul, and I started developing that about a year ago. And it's a digital platform program to teach one area of the business that we happen to do real well is called it's our treatment room. It's called a care space. And so just what we were talking about early, we look at the blueprint of H2O, any salon, and say typically 1,000 square feet should produce $1 million. So if you have 1,000 square feet, you should be producing $1 million, and that's how you gauge whether you want to expand. And so where people get their hair shampooed, we call it cleansed. It's called our care space. And we have one that's a cleanse space and one's a care space. And so in that space, through treatments and through dialogue, through our system that's called Main Mogul, we do treatments from $45 to $60. And so that room for us produces about $175,000 a year.
Wow.
And so I really, this year, I'm actually launching it in February. I invited about 10 salon owners and their managers to come in and see how we do it, to show them like how you communicate. We call it mind share, how you really build that relationship. We call it soul share. And then how you really have that transactional piece where the money's exchanged, and we call it value share. And we're going to teach them how to teach their team on how to communicate. So as a client comes in, you automatically increase in the ticket average per guest.
Toners, treatments, products.
Yeah. Well, that in that room, it's just the treatments. So it's a treatment that gives you instantaneous results. Some of your friends go in that room. They love it.
So I say, do I need to make a trip over to H2O?
You need to, but it's just
go get those locks taken care of, Jared.
Yes, it's like she was saying earlier. Most stylists they really don't know how to really create a business. Especially like you're saying, we really have employees, so all that is mapped out for them. But if you don't, you're like, how do I do that? And so this is really just an awesome system for hairstylists all over the United States, whether you're a new stylist right out of school, whether you've been doing hair for 10 years, 20 years, but you're stuck at that $200,000 a year, like you don't even know how to go further. Well, if I looked at it, I promise you your ticket average per guest, you're not maximizing that. It's not so much more people, it's how to maximize your ticket per guest. Cool. So we're super excited about that. And then we are partnering, which we're not going to say just yet, with another brand that's very well known that we believe is going to make us better together. It's not going to compete with the brands that we carry. It's just going to be in addition to. Cool. So we're launching that in January.
Very cool. Well, that's exciting.
It's fun.
I'm excited to see what's going on. Maybe I have to try. And then
I want you to come in and get a treatment. I want you to come in too, because you are in the beauty industry from your mom, just to see what it looks like and how the room is, because it's cozy, it's dark. We give you a blanket, you get a full head massage.
So obviously,
it's pretty amazing.
I haven't got a haircut in
power of
about
touch.
18 months, so it's about that time.
So I get the like after hours treatment from the girl who owns this, purchased the salon, and she sneaks me in, and we do it from like 8 to 10 at night. I dry my own hair. I am a typical stylist daughter.
Yeah, totally.
I haven't had the treatment. I don't know how long.
We need to bring you in, and we need to spoil you.
That's right.
That's what we need to
do.
Yes.
I need
anyway,
Very
so
cool.
It's exciting.
Well, cool. I'm excited for you next year. That sounds very cool. Well, and I appreciate you coming on. It's a great conversation.
I love being with these beautiful people here in the North Shore.